So, welcome everybody. Welcome. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. I was saying earlier, Lisa, about my kidney disease and how I protect my kidneys and being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. It kind of shook me into what I needed to do for my body. So I saw you, Rochelle, juicing, Lisa juicing, Tammy's juicing. And I did a little bit more research because I was introduced to it back in 2014 with Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. And, but I didn't stay on course. But this time I was like, look, whatever you need to do, do it. So it's not too late. Thankfully, talk to my doctors. It's not too late to reverse this whole thing and go back, for the next 50, 60 years. So I'm excited to have Rochelle. I'm going to let Rochelle introduce herself and tell us a little bit about her journey with juicing. If anybody have questions, feel free to put it in the chat, but we are going to have a question and answer session at the end.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
I'm so glad to be here with you ladies. I know it's 101 things you could be doing. Look at Lisa drinking her juice.
It looks good.
Yes, it does. It's 101 things you could be doing this morning. And so, kudos to you for being here to learn about one way. This is one way that you can really take better care of yourself and make sure you're getting some of the nutrients that your body needs. This journey started for me when I was about, 12 years old. I started out with my menstrual cycle. Hope y'all don't mind me being real transparent and vulnerable here.
This is the most transparent and vulnerable forum you will find.
Awesome.
Say it all. I don't care what words you use, just go.
Okay. So right out of the gate, I had really, really severe menstrual cramps, just a heavy flow just to be starting out. And my mom would be up with me like all hours of the night, rubbing my stomach and just trying to help me to be okay. And I would miss like 2 days of school every month. And then I went into college because my doctor, he just really didn't have a clue. He just thought, women have cramps, some don't. And so I met this girl in college, and she is the one who told me that, I think you have endometriosis. And she printed out this article and gave it to me. And the next time I went home, I took it to my doctor, and he still was just, he just wasn't listening, to me. And I'm like, well, I think this is what it is. And I ended up having to go to the emergency room, which was quite the norm while I was home. And the doctor that saw me in the emergency room told me that she could help me. But my doctor came and said, no, let's take her appendix out. So it was this thing of going back and forth. And I was like, no, this is related to my cycle, the whole thing. And so it was from then on that I started on this journey to heal myself, because it was at that point that I was really diagnosed with endometriosis. And when I tell you, I tried everything. Acupuncture, I was going to the chiropractor. I took myself completely off of meat because I believe it was the hormones that was, I was just trying to do research and do, what I thought would help my body. And so I ended up, even despite all of that, because I would grow discouraged because I didn't see any changes. And so I would stop, but I started. And then fast forward to about 2010, I'm working, I'm married, just doing a lot. And I ended up having a seizure, and don't have a history of seizure, never had a seizure before. I was completely out. I was, at church. And then I woke up in the hospital, in the ambulance. And the doctor put me on medication, a really strong medication, Lamictal, which has a ton of side effects, and epileptics actually take it. And so they tried to put me on it to prevent me from having a seizure, but I read through all the side effects and I was like, this doesn't make sense. Like, why would I do this? You know, and I've only had one seizure. And so I decided not to take the medication and to take better care of myself. So I started in 2010, but again, I didn't take it seriously. So 2012, I had another seizure. I was working at, I was doing a rehearsal for a wedding because I'm an events planner as well. And I was cueing the DJ to start the music. The next thing I know, I wake up in the emergency room. And so from there, I started on this journey of taking myself off of a lot of meat. I moved to a more plant-based, and then of course Joe Cross's, you know, his documentary came out, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's it for me. If Joe can do it, Ro can do it, right? And so I decided I was going to start juicing because the second neurologist I saw told me, hey, you know, you're having seizures because of stress and sleep deprivation, right? And so it clicked for me that it's not always what we're eating or our diets, but it's also those external things that we have to take care of. So having that knowledge and knowing that, hey, I can get these extra nutrients through the juicing is what really, you know, prompted me to take it very seriously and start getting enough rest and cutting those stressful things out of my life. And that has made a world of difference. So I'm feeling good. I haven't had another seizure, 4 surgeries after endometriosis, and I have the energy to take care of my 13-year-old son. That's me.
Good. I am so glad. I'm glad you're doing better, first of all. And I just wanted to go into how, okay, so I'm gonna have to stop this really quick because Katie and I are Instagram friends, and her name is something different on Instagram, and I just realized who she is. I've never met her, but I followed her for years, and I'm like almost in tears right now. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just realized who she is.
For Pete's sakes, no.
I'm like, oh my goodness, we've been
Don't cry, you
talking.
make me cry.
We've been talking for years, and I'm like,
Yes.
oh my goodness.
So you'll make me cry. No, I'm so happy to be here and meet you all and learn all about this. I'm new to this and so much is resonating with me right now. So thank you so much. Don't cry, you make me cry.
I know. I'm just going to chalk it up to my 50-year-old menopausal hormones. I'm going to drink some juice and get them in check. But
Thank you for having me.
That juice looks so good. Let me just...
Oh my gosh. Okay, so Rochelle,
Yes.
like I said, anybody, if you have any questions, Rochelle, let's talk about the health benefits of juicing. And Lisa,
Okay.
I know you juice. If you guys don't know Lisa is literally the overall guru of everything. So
Of everything.
So feel free to jump in and discuss as well. But Rochelle, tell us about juicing. Tell us the health benefits, what pairs with what, because I think celery is a bully. It's a bully. And
It is.
you just can't all outdo a whole bunch of celery. So tell us how you care and just tell us about your journey with juicing and what benefits it's had.
Okay, so you're absolutely right about celery. And you also know from your own experience that ginger is a definite bully.
Bully.
Oh, but it's so good
No,
for you.
I have this much. This is a lot of ginger.
It is.
And
It is.
really only takes just a snap.
Yeah,
But
it
it's
really
so
does.
good for you. Let's jump into ginger. What's ginger good for?
Okay. So let me start off by saying that I am not a nutritionist. Okay.
Okay.
So I am currently attending the Institute of Integrated Nutrition. So I am still on my journey. I am learning, and I'm learning a lot about the pairing and what vitamins, minerals, micronutrients versus macronutrients. And so I can talk about the general benefits, But when it gets to like the individual ingredients, I have to do my research. And that's what I do. I go and I look up, okay, what is fennel? You know, what is fennel good for? It's good for a lot of things, you know. But I know ginger for me, when I know about ginger, it's good for that digestive, you know, system and inflammation in the body. And so I love mixing it with, I put it in a lot of things, right? But I start with a small amount and then I add more. So it's not so overwhelming. And so since you're juicing, you make your juices separately.
I do.
You gotta start with maybe a teaspoon, maybe build up to 2, maybe a tablespoon, right? Depending on how much juice you're making. But generally I use 1 inch or a thumb, right? 1 inch or 2 inches if I really want it to be strong. Does that make sense?
It does.
Lisa? Yeah? Okay.
How many, by show of hands, and you can just hit the little clap button, how many of you guys have juicers at home?
That's a great question.
I do. Mine is older though. So if I put, I felt like I had to do, okay, Agatha, great.
Agatha.
Ivy does, okay, great. And Joanne, yeah, I've seen your juice, Joanne. I've noticed that if you have an older juicer, I have an older juicer, and I felt like I needed a whole big thing of ginger, but I didn't. I literally got this from, you know how it looks like a cloth, so it was probably about this big.
Oh, a big one, yeah.
And that's a lot of ginger juice.
Yeah.
How can I preserve this if I've done too much? Can I freeze it and it still come out okay a week later, or what's the life shelf of juicing when you juice?
Okay, so that's a great question. When you juice, you know automatically, as soon as you cut that vegetable or fruit, the oxidation starts right away. Okay, and then when you run it through the juicer, the same thing happens, and that's why it's so important to one, like what Lisa's this mason jar with the vacuum seal. But even with that, in the refrigerator after juicing, you wanna consume that within 72 hours, right? So 3 days. Now you can freeze it. You absolutely can.
You can.
And my research tells me that you can freeze your juices, even ginger. It can last for up to 6 months in the freezer, right?
Oh, good. I don't have.
But once you thaw it, you want to thaw it in the refrigerator. Once it's thawed, you still only have 72 hours to consume it, right? So you just want to be very careful about drinking anything past the 70. I know people that do it, especially out of the mason jars, but you know, you're running into the bacteria, and the biggest thing is losing those nutrients, you know, that you need from it. Great question.
Okay.
Oh, let me say this.
Okay.
You can freeze in a mason jar, but you have to have room for it to expand. So you don't want to fill it all the way to the top.
Okay.
All right, because your mason jar will break in the freezer. So you can use, they have these plastic bags that you can use for freezing, but also, you know, I don't like putting my juices in plastic, but you can freeze them in plastic.
Okay. Is there a special type of mason jar that freeze, or just any of them you should be able to freeze? I've always been afraid to freeze in a mason jar. I was scared it was going to break.
Okay. Well, I like the I'm definitely not promoting them in any way, but I've only used the ball mason jar.
Okay. Okay. Great. Let's see. So beets. Let's talk about beets. What about beets? How, I see Joanne clapping up there. Beets, how great are beets for you? I have a little quick side story to tell. When I was growing up, radish and beets were snacks. My mom would give us radish and beets. Like, the hot little bulb radish and
Yeah.
beet out of a jar or a can. That was our snack. She wouldn't let us eat chips and candy. But the
Oh, I
minute I
love
could as
that.
a kid, I eat chips and candy,
I
which is
love
why I'm
that.
here now. Had I stuck to what she did with us back then, yeah. And we ate it no problem. We
Yeah.
ate it perfectly, no problem. That was all we knew.
Yeah. We eat what we're trained to eat, right?
Yeah.
So it starts from very early on. If my son, he loves Takis, right? Is that what they're called? Takis? I'm like, no,
Taki.
it's an apple.
Yeah.
Um, but I would really like it if Lisa could maybe weigh in on that because I love beets. And I know it's good for your blood. But I also know for people who have it kind of thins the blood, so you want to be careful with that with the beets. So I try not to. I drink the rainbow, right? I don't drink the same juice every day. It's a different juice. So I definitely, even someone who is healthy, it's probably not a good idea to drink a whole lot of beet juice in one day, right? 16 ounces, one day and then maybe another few days, but you want to drink the rainbow, just like eating the rainbow, right?
Okay.
So, Lisa, you have anything to add to the beets?
To the beets.
Yeah, I mean, what you said is perfect. First of all, I'm super proud of you, Rochelle, to see you doing this. So that
Thank you.
encouraged me so much. Juicing beets, yeah, you don't want to juice a lot of beets just because beets can be very aggressive on the digestive tract. Beets are very good for cleaning the blood, like she said, it's very good at cleansing the blood. It's excellent for that. Beets if you look at the different vegetables, and I won't go all into it, I just focus on the beets. If you look at different vegetables, they kind of represent the different organs that we have in the capillaries, the veins that we have, even the brain. If you look at cauliflower, it looks like a brain, but cauliflower has a huge effect on the brain when you eat it. So beets looks like blood, but it's also very good for the liver. Beets and apples is probably one of the best of detoxifying the liver, which actually helps balance out our hormones when we get over 40. So that's the reason. I'll just throw that in. If I had to add anything
Awesome.
about the beets, I would think detoxification of the liver, cleansing of the blood, and balancing of the hormones.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I saw a question in the.
Okay, let me see. I am typing, I don't know anything about juicing. What are some specific benefits? And that's from Anjanette. So if you could just give us some of the benefits of juicing, and then we'll go back to what fruits have and vegetables have specific benefits. Didn't know you could juice greens.
Yes.
So if you would just weigh in on that a little bit as well.
Okay. So, so the health benefits of juicing. Let me start off by saying that really eating more fruits and vegetables is the way to go, right? But our lives are so busy. The best thing to do is to eat whole food, right? More fruits and more vegetables. But juicing is a way to get those nutrients in your bloodstream faster. We're women, we're on the go. You see some moms out there, career women, entrepreneurs, and we have a lot on our plates. So for me, eating sometimes a big plate of vegetables can be more challenging than just having my juice, and then rolling with it, right? And so some of the benefits that I personally have experienced is energy. I have a whole lot more energy. I'm in menopause. I'm in that season of life. And so, all of the symptoms that come along with that, the brain fog, it's hard, and so it's lifted that fog. I have mental clarity, right? And I just overall feel good. Some other benefits are your skin. is really good for your skin. Look at all this. Yeah. And also your hair. Like it gives you that sheen, and my hair is growing. It's healthier. It's thick. It's not, it's not breaking off. It's just, some studies. Now, the interesting thing is there's not a whole lot of studies that are specifically for juicing. It's more about fruits and vegetables. Okay. So it's just how you're getting that into your system. And so studies have shown that eating fruits and vegetables could help prevent heart disease. I mean, so many things that the body, the illness and disease that sets in. Now, I will say again, I said this earlier, is that, look, you can eat healthy, but those external things also affect your health. And yeah, I can drink kale every day, and still not be healthy because of those external factors, like relationships. Sometimes our jobs are stressing us out, lack of exercise and movement, not getting sun, things like that.
Okay.
So did that answer your question? Who was that?
And Jeanette?
And Jeanette?
Yes, thank you.
So juicing is just one aspect of it. Like you said, of course, it's a whole mind body thing as well. I'm glad you added that in. Apples and lemons. What are some of your pairings? I know Rochelle, actually, she shared 2 recipes with us, and I'll email that along with Lisa's website and a couple of other wellness websites to you guys after class. After the Zoom. But what are some of your pairings?
So one of my favorites that I just kind of stumbled on is fennel. Fennel and pineapple and yellow bell pepper. Now, I have to be honest, I just wanted a yellow juice. I got the red, I got the green, I need something yellow. And for some reason, fennel just spoke to me. Fennel looks like an organ too. You guys know what fennel is? This is really interesting. It's actually an herb. and it has it has a bulb, and it has, my son thought it was an onion.
I did too, actually.
Yeah, with stalks coming out of it, and it has these feathery leaves on it, and it smells like licorice.
Yes.
It's very aromatic, and I was like, I have to taste that. And so the first time I did it, I used pear, because what I do is I look on the internet, especially Joe's page for his recipes. And I was like, well, let me try something different, because that's a good place to start if you're new to juicing and you don't know how to pair. Find like Lisa's website I go to. She has some great recipes on there. Joe Cross, I use his. And then you tweak them and make them your own, right? But like I said, the yellow, I was like pineapple and yellow bell pepper. And it turned out to be really, it's actually one of my favorite juices now. And then with the greens, I like to add lemon and apple. Some people like citrus, in their greens, but it's really up to you. My rule of thumb is just try not to make it too sweet. The less fruit, the better, right?
Okay.
Because it's going right into your bloodstream. So you want to get those, those vegetables in your system.
Okay, so you say you normally pair your greens with lemon and
like apple. I
Apple.
use celery.
Okay.
Think lemon, celery, apple. Yeah, stuff like that.
And what are some?
But experiment, because even with, like I said, with the fennel, it's also good with just pear by itself.
Oh wow!
Right? So it's really, really good. It's like a champagne. You put it in a nice glass and turn up. It's delicious. Yeah.
Okay, guys, I've actually put Lisa's and Joe Reboot with Joe, their websites.
Yeah.
Chat if you want to copy it and just keep it. So Does anyone have any questions? You can take yourself off of mute and ask any questions that you have. Joanne. Oh.
Rochelle or whomever, can you talk about adding powders to your juice, like protein powders or collagen powders, stuff like that?
Yeah. So you guys know when you're juicing, basically you're taking really the fiber out of your juice. So you're not getting the macronutrients that come with that. You're reducing it to, you know, just those micro nutrients. And so a lot of time, here's the thing, here's my thing. Listen to your body, okay? So with juicing, some people have done, like Joe Cross, he did something very extreme. I think it was 60 days, just juice. Now, but Joe was working with his doctor, right? He was being monitored the whole time. And so it's good to, one, listen to your body and be able to communicate to your doctor what you're feeling, how your body is, you know, responding to things, because one person's food is another person's poison, right? What works for one person doesn't always work for the next person, right? So you may need that extra protein you know, with your juice, and that's okay. Or instead of juicing, it might be more beneficial to you for you to do smoothies, you know, instead. And so it's just different for everybody. The first time I did a juice fast, it was 21 days, just juice and water. And I felt like my third eye had opened up. Like everything was clear. I was like, oh yeah, it was amazing. But somebody else may not have that same experience. You know, one of my girlfriends, she's like, let's do keto. I said, okay, I'm willing to try it. She did amazing on it. And it stripped me of all my muscles. Like it took everything I had, you know. And so you got to know your body. But yes, you can add those proteins, vegan. I would do the vegan protein if you're doing juicing.
Okay, Lisa. Thank you, Rochelle. That was perfect.
You're welcome.
That was awesome. I would like to respectfully add, if that's okay, about why you should use citrus when you're juicing greens. The greens, you know, everything has meat products have the heme, which is the iron that we get, but also fruits and vegetables have heme in it too, which is greens. But the only way for that heme to be broken down in iron into the body is that you have to have a citrus, you have to have vitamin C. So it's very important too that when you are juicing anything, any leafy green, collard greens is actually one of the greens that has one of the highest amount of heme in it, one of them. And so you incorporate lemon or some type of citrus or vitamin C in there so that you can get the iron from the greens. And I know because I had a kidney transplant, my iron can be low, but whenever I have juiced collard greens and lemons together, it goes up. Like it was at 8. Now my hemoglobin is at 13. And I have not been eating meat to do that. I've been juicing collard greens and lemons, which surprised me when I got my blood work back. And he was like, you're at 13.6, which is really good for a transplant person. So I just wanted to add that if you're going to juice green, especially if you're dealing with issues with bleeding too much, irregular periods, and the periods are really heavy, you're losing so much blood, your iron drops. And that can happen during menopause. So anyway, I just wanted to, you know, add that there as well. Yeah.
Thank you, Lisa.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you. Because I think the myth is we can only get protein and build our iron with meats, red meats. So a lot of people pump in red meats, and I'm not saying it doesn't have its place, but it's harsh, and it's a lot harder for your body to break that down and process it.
Absolutely.
Wow. Thank you so much, Lisa. Joanne, I saw your hand go up.
Yeah, I was just going to say that what you guys just shared, Lisa and Rochelle, was really helpful. What's up, Cinto?
He said hi. He's new to juicing.
That was really helpful because I'm actually, I just got my blood work back the other day, and my iron is low, and I've been taking liquid iron supplements because I can't do pills. But my doctor, which it was low, but not as low as it has been in the past, and so she prescribed some iron supplements.
Yeah.
And I don't like taking pills, so I haven't gone to pick them up yet. But so I think I'm gonna go pick them up, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and get me some collard greens and lemon
It's citrus.
first.
Collard greens is my favorite
Go
to
ahead and
do
get that,
now. I prefer them over kale.
So that was really, really helpful because when you were saying that, I was like, oh snap, I ain't gotta take no pills. I just gotta get some collard greens and some lemons.
Lisa, you can take yourself off mute.
You're on mute.
Yeah, I think she's trying.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So, yes, get some collard greens because my iron, you know, being a kidney transplant person and menopause, my iron would have to give me infusions, which I can't take because I'm allergic to the infusions. It put me in the hospital. So I started juicing collard greens and lemons and oranges. And it's, you know, I get a jug like this, and I went to my doctor last week for my blood work, and all I've been doing is juicing.
Yeah.
And my iron is at 13.6. I was like, oh, I know this iron gonna be low, but I'm feeling good.
Good.
So, and I know that it works. And so I did, and 13.6, I was like, Joseph. He was like, baby, that's good. So yeah, girl, go get you some collard greens.
Yes, by all means. I
love it.
Kale.
Go ahead.
Because I've been juicing kale a lot this week.
Yeah, kale's good.
Yeah. Switch them up. Switch up your greens.
Okay, I have a question from Agatha. She said, where do you get your fruits and vegetables? And I want to add, what's your preparation for fruits and vegetables? Do you wash, scrub? And I'm going to tell you, beets. I was at Tammy's getting ready to juice some beets, and she was like, girl, Rochelle said to soak them and then scrub them. I'm scrubbing.
Water.
I have drank more dirt in my beet juice because it will not come off. It tastes so earthy. I'm like, okay, I used to eat mud pies as a kid, so whatever. So, but it's so earthy. And
it's so good.
What do you use to wash it? So where do you get it from? Do you do organic versus non-organic? And what do you use to wash your products?
Okay, there's a lot in that. That's good.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, so I love getting fruits and vegetables from the local farmers. They took us out to Fry Farm, like, oh, yes, but I can't always, like sometimes I just need it, faster than I can get it, right? Yeah. So I just go local. I like Sprouts a lot because they have a lot of organic selections. When I can't find it at Sprouts, I go to Publix. They have like a new little, well, it's not new, but it's small, it's growing and organic. There's certain things that I like from Publix. And then there are things with the thicker, the skin on the outside, oranges, things like that I get and I need in bulk. I'll get it from Sam's. And so it just really depends. I do like using, maybe we can drop this in the chat box. It's EWG, the Environmental Working Group. I use them for the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. They put out a list of fruits and vegetables that you absolutely should buy organic because of pesticides.
Okay.
Right? And so what I do to clean them, it's so funny because I'm sitting here like, oh, I forgot to put the up on the counter. This is, can you see that? That's it. That's a fruit and vegetable wash. And I also use, sometimes the stores are out of that one, and I'll use this, they have this one at Sprouts. It's also a veggie wash, fruit and veggie wash as well.
Okay.
So with the beets, I do soak them. I soak them a little longer, but I use the Veggie Wise. Did she say dishwashing liquid? I thought I heard that. No? Okay.
Okay, let me just say, I have done that before. I diluted it because I thought it was okay if I run enough water. I was like, Dawn cleans ducks and after
It
oil
cleans everything.
spills, why not? I mean,
Right.
it does everything, but I quickly stopped because I didn't quite get it all out. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I think Fit, I think is what it
Fit.
is.
Yeah, it's Fit. Fit.
In a little
Yeah.
spray bottle.
It does the trick. And with your beads, you can use a vegetable brush, like a produce brush, to kind of get that excess dirt off. And I always peel my beads. Some people don't, but I peel mine
Oh, do you?
before I juice them.
Okay.
Yeah, they're so pretty. I love beads.
So
Now
I put over
with-
here the link to EWG that shows the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. So if you guys want to copy that, like I said, it'll be in your email as well. So, but if you want to copy it and take a look at it now, you can.
oh wait, I did see that. I didn't mention. Yes, Bragg's apple cider vinegar. Thank you, Joanne. I will use that sometimes with my greens. A little bit of ACV with water, and just kind of rinse them that way.
Okay. Lisa, you can unmute yourself. I see your hands up. Oh, no. Okay, Rochelle. So you
prep. Can I share a little bit
prep.
more?
That's what I want
Okay.
to hear.
Now, apples. I always core my apples because of the seeds in the apples are supposed to be toxic. So you just want to be careful with. I core them and then I cut them in quarters, or you cut them so they fit in the chute of your juicer. And carrots, my carrots. Some people just wash their carrots, so it's okay. But I like to get that outer layer off my carrots. If they're organic, you probably wouldn't need to do that. Just clean them and and juice them. My oranges, I peel those. But I know some people like the lemon. They like to juice the outer part of their lemon too, because there's a lot of good stuff, in the peel of the lemon. And so again, if you Karen. Is that Karen? What is that?
She has her mask and her shield on.
Yes. But yeah, so in like seeds in your oranges and lemons, you don't really have to worry too much about those. Now, depending on the type of juicer that you have, sometimes you have to feed your greens through with something that has more water in it, like your cucumber or celery. It'll really push those greens through. The juicer that I had before, the Nama, the Breville, I didn't get a whole lot of juice out of the greens, but with the cold press, it's like wringing a towel. It's just it's wringing the juice out of those greens, and I get a lot more yield with that.
What juicer would you recommend? And what's a cold press juicer? I don't know what that is actually.
Okay, so you have the I can never pronounce it, but centrifugal. How you say that? Centrifugal.
Uh-huh.
That's the one that spins.
Yeah.
And you're putting well, a lot of heat is created in that, and so you lose some of the nutrients when you use that, right? Okay. Now the cold press is a slow extraction from your fruits and vegetables, right? And it's not creating the heat the way that the other juicer does. And so I really like the cold press because you're getting more nutrients, and I get a whole lot more yield from my fruits and vegetables, which means you're saving yourself money in the long run. Those are a little bit more expensive, but it's definitely worth the investment, and I'm having to tweak all of my recipes now because it's not, I'm getting more juice.
Wow.
So it doesn't taste the same when you're pulling it through, the centrifugal.
It does this. Okay,
Was
so
that helpful?
it was.
Yeah.
I didn't understand. The pulp, I have an issue with getting rid of the pulp. I'm always looking for a way to use the pulp. I saw Lisa do the blueberry, I think, or you did some sort of bread.
She did a bread, yeah.
Yeah, so what do you
Granola.
what do you do with your pulp, Rochelle?
You can put it in smoothies, right? I would like to be able to use it for compost, but I haven't done that. And
But
I like to make.
It can be used for
It
compost?
can be used for compost.
Okay.
I like to make vegetable broth out of my vegetable pulp. And I have not tried baking yet, but I know Lisa's made cookies, and I know she has recipes too. So, because I'm juicing so frequently now, those are definitely things I want to, learn how to do more of. So, because I know what you mean. It feels wasteful a little bit, right?
It does, and I hate to get rid of it. So at one point, I froze it thinking I was going to do something with it. And I don't know, 8, 9 months later, I'm like, what is this? And I ended up throwing it away anyway. So it was like, what's the point? But I really want to, maybe the next time we can come up with some recipes or something.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah, to use for the pulp.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can really see making like a carrot cake or some kind of carrot bread out of, because you get a lot of pulp with the carrots. Now with the nama, I gotta tell you, you don't get as much pulp. So for me, it just doesn't feel as wasteful, but I still would like to do something with it.
That's true. You don't get as much, and it's dry because
it's very dry.
Gets all of the juice out. My ginger. Back to my ginger.
Hot mama.
I know. I actually poured it in instead of teaspooning it in. It was way too much.
Yeah.
But, thank you, Rochelle. I'm gonna open this up to any questions. You can unmute yourself, ask Rochelle. Lisa, please feel free to chime in at any given point. But the floor is open.
Can you guys talk about the time, how do I put this? You know how you mentioned, Rochelle, about the oxidation as soon as you cut? So can you talk about the importance of cutting your fruits and your vegetables right when you're getting ready to juice, and the importance of the nutrient value breakdown and all that? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, what I can share, Joe, is, just that those nutrients start to diminish, as soon as you put the knife to it, right? And so I like to prep for my juices instead of, some people prep and like to have them cut so that they can juice them later. They wait. There's simple ways you can do this. I like to go ahead and, if I'm cutting it, I'm juicing it, I'm putting it in that mason jar and sealing it, to lock it in. But in terms of the breakdown and how quickly that happens, I don't know the answer to that. I just know that I drink my juices and if I'm not drinking it right when I make it, which is the best thing to do, I know I'm drinking it within 72 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know if Lisa can add anything to that or wants to.
Oh, there it is. Oh, me and Zoom. Oh my goodness. Okay. No, I think what you added is right. I juice and drink. Especially having a kidney transplant, and what my doctors have told me at Emory, stuff starts to grow bacteria in it, and so, especially, it's great to put in the mason jar and seal it and all of that. That's awesome. But it does start to grow bacteria in it. And so for me, with a low immune, being, immunosuppressant, and if you are anyone out there that is immune suppressed in any kind of way, I would suggest you drink the juice as soon as you juice it, because bacteria starts to grow immediately on raw foods or anything like that immediately. But people who have great immune systems, you could probably wait 72 hours because it's not pasteurized. You can wait 72 hours before the bacteria really starts to affect you, but it does grow immediately. And like you said, you start losing the nutrients. My concern is not necessarily losing the nutrients. My concern is the health of the juice for my immunity at that time. So that's pretty much all I can add on that one.
Okay.
That was good.
And Katie, you're next.
Thank you. Can I add to what Lisa shared? Okay,
Yes.
I think we may have alluded to this earlier, but Lisa mentioned the compromised immune system, any kind of health issue, if you're taking medication, it's just so important to consult your doctor. If you're going to be juicing, get their advice and get them on board so they can just kind of monitor, how you respond to it. They may tell you it's just not the best thing for you, and so it's important to, to do that. Now, in the case of like the doctor I had who told me, hey, little girl, some people have cramps and some don't. Sometimes you gotta, not that you want to go where where to hear what your itching ears want to hear, but you want a doctor that's open. Some doctors are not interested in alternative treatments, and people have used food, natural ways to heal themselves of disease, and not every doctor is willing to work with you in that. And so, but I do think it's very, very important to get that medical advice for your own unique need, because we're different, right?
Right.
It's bio individuality. We're not all cut from the same cloth. So.
Right. So we're going to take Katie's question next, and then Agatha.
Okay. Well, again, I'm very new to this, but I did just have my blood work done, and I have high liver enzymes. So this is right up my alley. My first question is, how long before you began to see results, and should I, with the doctor and everything, should I be testing maybe every 6 months? Do you monitor your blood work monthly, or when did you start to see results? And then also, do you do this as a meal replacement, or do you do it with a meal?
Good question.
Because my husband, he loves smoothies and everything, and he's hungry all the time. So I don't know if I think he'd murder if I just fed him juice for dinner. So
yes.
What is the best way to go about it?
It's so, it's like 100 answers to that question.
Okay, that's fine.
So let me tell you, earlier I was talking about the bio-individuality, right? Like we're all different. So I told you I did a 21-day juice fast. I don't recommend that to people. I just don't. I did what I felt like I needed to do to detox, my system. But I was paying attention. And at the end of that, my doctor was like, look, whatever you're doing, keep doing, because it's good for you. You know what I mean? And so, and then I slowly introduced food back and things like that. But juicing, to your question, do I use it as a meal replacement? No.
Okay.
If I'm juicing daily, right? But there's a juice fast, and then there's just adding juice into your daily regimen, right? So with the juice fast, it could be a day. I know people that just, they normally fast water 1 day a week. They've always done it. This woman I know. But now, you can juice just 1 day a week. you know, or one day, however you want to do it. You have to figure out what it is for you, or you can just, you know, I call it a reboot. I get that from Joe Cross. He does a, you know, it's a reboot. And I do, this year I've done a 3-day reboot, a 7-day reboot. My birthday's coming up, so I might do another 7-day reboot. Where I just do just juice, but I thrive in that, like I do. But I've also seen, like I watched Lisa's journey leading up to her 50th birthday, where she did juice, a smoothie, which is a meal because you're getting that fiber and you feel full. But juicing, you know, you're hungry. You're still hungry. And then I think it was 1 meal a day, and I think it was vegan, if I'm right. You know, and so it just, Katie, you have to figure out what, you know, what is sustainable, first of all, for you.
Okay.
You know, some of my friends, you know, I'll juice for them and give them, you know, get them ready for a 3-day reboot. But after that, they have to figure out, now, how can I make this sustainable? Like, how am I going to make sure I'm getting enough fruits and vegetables, you know, in my diet every day? Okay. But it's definitely not, like now my husband, he did a 7-day reboot. He's still juicing. He's begging me for juice. But he's eating salads and, you know, it's changed his whole, he doesn't crave the sugar and, you know, the bad foods anymore. It resets your system, you know, so that you can crave those healthier foods. And then once you talk to your doctor, they can probably help you come up with a plan of, okay, let me see you back in 3 months, or let me see you back in 6 months, you know. And they also have the virtual thing now, you know, you can talk to them about what you're doing and, you know, and then determine from there if you need to come in from blood work. So that is going to vary person to person.
Thank you. Thank you.
Did I get all your questions answered?
You did. Thank you. You did. Absolutely. It's a journey. I get it.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Yeah. And best of luck on your journey.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Agatha.
Thank you. I have 2 questions also.
Okay.
The first one is, how much juice do you drink a day? And that, I know that might be varying, but if you're juicing. And the second one is, if you're doing smoothies, can you put greens in your smoothie? I know it adds fiber and all.
Yeah. So when I'm doing a reboot and it's just juice, I drink 5 to 6, 16 ounces, which is smaller than this one, the smaller jar. I drink 5 or 6 of these when I'm doing a reboot. But doing, you know, just regular, just, you know, juicing every day. I just juice when I feel like it. Jacinto has the juice for breakfast in the mornings. And then we're going to be adding smoothies. We may alternate, or he may do a smoothie for lunch. But I find in the morning is the best time for me to have my juice. But sometimes I'll take an extra jar to work. Like if I need a little afternoon boost, I can have my juice then. What was your second question?
Can you put green?
About the smoothies, do you put greens in your smoothies? Is it just, I mean, I know you juice it, but are you able to put greens in? I know, you know, because of the blending up, I didn't know how well it did. And also, how much water do you drink a day with your juicing? Sorry, that's a third question.
Oh, great question. Absolutely, you can put greens in your smoothies. I find it's better if you take the stem out before you blend it. But yeah, you can definitely use greens in your smoothie.
Okay. And how much water do you drink per day while you're juicing?
I have to tell you, the last time I juiced, I got dehydrated because I wasn't drinking enough water. And you're thinking because you're drinking so much juice that you can actually get dehydrated while juicing. So I try to drink. I tried that whole half your body weight thing. That didn't work. But what I try to do is take a couple of mason jars with water and put lemon or lime in the juice and just drink it throughout the day. So I try to get about 64 ounces.
Okay. Okay, Joanne.
These are awesome questions.
Can you guys talk about the cost benefit of juicing? Where, some people might wonder, how expensive is it to juice versus just popping a pill, a vitamin pill or whatever. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. My thing is, listen, it's better to spend the money now compared to what it will cost you later if you end up, with a hospital bill. Or, I mean, we can talk about that, but I think it's just, deciding to make your health a priority, and doing what it takes to do that. And it really doesn't have to be that expensive. Like the recipes today, I deliberately made recipes that were only 3 ingredients. Only 3 ingredients. And so I think what we can do when you start piling on 5, 6, 7 things into your juice all the time, it really can get expensive. And then I shop. I really do shop for the best prices. And I think too, if you get those, the vegetables, especially that are high yielding, that, produce a lot of juice, your money will go, you can get a whole lot of juice out of a cucumber,
And ginger. This is literally, I know I've been harping on my ginger.
I'm going to get some of that ginger. You need to share that.
This is only $4 worth of ginger. I can't do that.
That's amazing. That's a lot. That is a lot.
That's a lot of ginger.
Yeah. And sometimes what I do with my ginger, I'll juice some lemon as well. Instead of using a tea bag, I'll use the fresh ginger and the fresh lemon to make my morning tea. So don't let that go to waste. There's a lot you can do with that.
Well, ladies, we are going to wrap it up because I wanted to keep it at an hour. We will definitely circle back maybe next month and do another one as well. Thank you all so much for coming. I want to take a quick picture if you all don't mind being on social media. If you do, by all means, take your picture out or do what Joanne did. Like this. You see the palm of her hand.
Come on, Ivy. Come on, McCarthy.
If you guys want to be a part, I would love to see your pretty faces.
Natalie.
And if not, that's perfectly okay. I just want to make sure.
Sorry, I can't figure out how to put my face on my phone.
Okay, so again, I have to say this. Harriet, if you guys see her, she has the blue mask on. We've been friends for 50 years. She just got a heart transplant in February. And this isn't hormones. I am actually in tears every time I see her.
Oh my
She
goodness.
just got a heart transplant in February. We were in the hospital from December, January to her transplant. And she is on the freaking mend. So
come on.
I have to give a shout out to my girl.
Yes.
Yay. Mwah, mwah. I love her so much. Yeah. So we're going to take this picture and, oh, see, here they come.
The tears.
I love you. But we do this. Every time I see her, I cry. So we like I said, we've been friends. Our parents were pregnant together. So we have 50 years of love and history right there. So I'm going to take the picture and I'll count down 3, 2, 1. Got it. Thank you, ladies, so much.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you, Lena. This was amazing.
Thank you, guys. I'll be having more workshops and online Zoom. So feel free to stop in. Love you guys.
Love you.
Great
Bye-bye.
weekend. Katie, I'm so happy to see you.
Babe, it's so good to see you.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I know. Hugs all over the place. Thank you.
Major hugs.
Love you. I need to come see you in Atlanta. I gotta come. And
I
I was so upset with that one day when I came and I didn't realize that you were there. And you're like, wait a minute, were you in Atlanta? Yes. Oh, God. Next time, I promise. I
Yes,
promise.
I am
It's
so
so good
happy
to
to
see
see your
you.
place. I love everything you do. You always take me to
Oh, babe.
this place that inspires me and just
Oh,
imbues me
babe.
with so much hope. So I
Oh,
love you.
same to you. I love you. Oh, if you knew how boring I am, honest to God. I just make it look pretty. No, I'm telling you, it's nothing. Thank you.
It works for me. It works for me. I love you. Mwah. We'll have to talk more.
Absolutely.
And I hope
Thank you
this
so
helps.
much for this.
You're welcome. You're so
Thank you.
welcome. Bye, ladies.
All right, bye, babe. See you.